everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Ryan and I am the Laser Noob. So I know I've been a little absent lately, haven't put out an instructional video on actually laser etching or engraving, but I'm kind of at the whims of the Florida weather. It's been very cold, very wet, very humid here, and I mean, I tried to do some acrylics, last week. It took like 6 days for the paint to dry on the acrylics. It's been ridiculous with the cold and humidity here. So it's actually warmed up this week. So I got back into the swing of things, and one of the things I wanted to do is I've seen these in a couple of stores around the Pensacola area, and I was like, I can do that. Maybe. So I wanted to give it a try. So I've done a bunch of testing. So today's project, what we're going to be working on is doing laser engraved maps. Okay, so what I want you guys to understand, this map, I just got finished burning this. This is a test piece. This is not cleaned up, okay? I've got masking tape on this. This black is gonna go away. You'll actually see some of the natural wood grain. But you can see, Pensacola, over here we got Pensacola Beach, Perdido Key, Escambia Bay. So, and all the black is all water except for all this stuff. These are all roads. So this was the best one that I've done so far, but I see a couple of errors in it, a couple of things I need to tweak. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this guy right here, I'm gonna take it up to the house, I'm gonna clean it up, get rid of all this black soot, come back here, I'm gonna show you guys how it looks cleaned up. Then we're gonna hop into the computer and we're gonna go back. I'm gonna show you guys how I made this map, and we're gonna edit out where I've made a couple of little mistakes. I didn't erase some stuff, I left some stuff, but we're gonna clear that all up. I'm probably gonna change this font to make it to make it pop a little bit more. And then we're actually going to take a 16 by 16 piece of wood, select pine, and we're gonna burn a map onto that. Now, this guy here is not very big. So as you can see, we're looking at about 13 inches, if you can see that, about 13 inches wide, by about, let's see here, what do we got? 6 inches tall. So 13 by 6 on this. This little guy took almost an hour to burn. It was my last test before this one. This guy right here took almost 6 hours to burn. So it's not a fast process with a 10 watt. 10 watt is it's the highest power laser I have right now. I got a 10 and a 5. Got to do it with the 10. So the 16 by 16 is probably going to take me a good portion of tomorrow to burn. I mean, it's already late here today. But let's go get this cleaned up. We'll come back. We'll take a look at it. We'll hop in. I'll show you how I got everything laid out. Show you guys exactly how I did this process. And we'll go from there. So stick around and let's see how this turns out. Here is the little small map. I didn't put any names on it. It was just a test burn to make sure everything was lined up. And you can see how sooty it is. Clean finger, I wipe on that soot and I pull soot off. So it's very sooty. So all I did is I took the map up and I rinsed it off with water, and I took a soft bristled toothbrush, and all I did was with running water, went over it with a soft bristled toothbrush, and it cleans up from this to this, okay? Now, keep in mind, this is still wet, so it's still real dark. This wood is actually gonna lighten up quite a bit once it dries out, all right? But, so you can see, so I told you I saw a couple of errors. So I've got 2 layers on this. One is the roads layer with the Pensacola on there. The other layer is all the water layer with these names of the bays, Perdido Bay, Perdido Key, Pensacola Beach. So And the reason I put these out here is because it was too small to put it in the land at the wide angle that I have. So anyway, like I said, this will lighten up. It'll be much lighter. But I wanted to point out the things that I actually screwed up to you guys. So you'll see right here, if I get in a little closer, you see this line. That's actually a bridge. All right. So what it did is when it did the roads, it burned that bridge. And then when I did the water, that's a solid fill and it burned that again. So you can really see that. I need to go back and just erase that. I don't need that bridge there because I don't have this bridge here. I don't have this bridge here. And then you'll see what happened over here is I didn't erase the bridge, and on where it says Perdido Bay, and that may be too close to focus on, but where it says, this says Perdido Bay, but then it's got the bridge burnt right across it. So I need to get rid of those bridges. Then up here, what you guys can see is you'll see these gray smudges right here. This is actually an indent that was in the wood. And so when I put the masking tape on, what happened was it didn't stick to that indent, didn't go down into it. And that smoke from burning got underneath it and really got into that paint right there. So super important, you got a very flat, smooth piece of wood, because otherwise that's what you're going to get. And then the Pensacola I'm going to have to put on a separate layer because it didn't hardly burn at all. I mean, that just didn't even quite go through the paint. And you see the Pensacola Bay, Escambia Bay. I mean, they're readable if you look real close, but this is not a very big map, and I want them to pop a little bit. So we're going to change those fonts. So with that, let's head over to the computer, and we're going to open up a website, and we're going to be using some Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop to kind of get this thing the way I want it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to build our map. So what I have done is I've gone to snazzymaps.com. You can see that right up here, snazzymaps.com. You can go in and you can create all the maps you want, but in order to download the map, you have to have a free registered account. And once you register for a free account, then you can download 10 maps a day. Okay, and if you want to make 2 accounts, you can do 20 maps a day, but it's free. I don't get any spam email from them or anything like that. So I mean, it's easy to to use. So what we're gonna do, so from the main page of snazzymaps.com, we're gonna go to create a style. Okay. Once we create a style, we're gonna come over here. Everything is default. I'm gonna reset everything. All right. The default, when you guys open yours up, is going to be New York City. Every time you open this up, I already had this open, so but every time you open it up, it's New York City, and you're going to have to change it to whatever location you want to make the map you want to make. So as you can see here, I've moved it down here to the Panhandle of Florida, where we've got Pensacola Beach, we've got Perdido Key, Gulf Breeze, Pensacola. That's the area that I'm looking to work on today. So we're going to go to create a style, and it brings up this page right here, and we're going to go apply style. We're going to use the default setting. Now, once you guys do that, under features here on the left hand side, you're going to click on all, and you're going to go to geometry, and you're going to go to off on visibility. And that turns off all that stuff. Now we're going to go to labels, and we're going to turn labels off. And now you have just pretty much a blank slate. All right. The only thing you'll have down here is this Google stuff. So when you actually download the map, this Google crap down here will be on it. We'll crop that out. So, all right. From there, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go down to water, and I'm going to go to geometry. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go to custom color, and I'm going to make that black. That's it. That's the whole layer right there. We've done that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name that. We're going to come up here to download right here. That's all I want on that layer. So I'm going to go download image. I'm going to make the dimensions as large as possible, which is 1000 by 1000 pixels. I'm going to go scale factor of 3, and I'm going to download it. And in a minute, my dinosaur computer will bring up the download screen. And begin. There we go. So I will call this map to water layer. Okay. And I will save that. All right. Now that that has saved, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to X out of the download image. And I'm going to turn the water. I'm not even going to bother turning it off. You see the little reset button right here? I'm just going to click that. Okay. And that gets rid of the water. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to roads. And under geometry, I'm going to click on. And I'm going to show you guys a little difference here. So here's what the roads look like when they're fully turned on. Now, if I just turn on simplified, it makes it a little bit better. So, and the reason why I'm using simplified is because I don't want a bunch of thick roads. So the yellow, the highways, you know, and the interstates, I mean, those are going to be a much thicker line. I don't want that. I just want simplified. I want the thinner line, just like that. Now I'm going to do my custom color again, and I'm going to make it black. That's our roads. Okay. So now there's a couple of things that I need to do that I learned from this other map. So remember, I had an issue over here with this bridge going through where I had Perdido Bay written in the water. And then this bridge I didn't get rid of, so it burnt twice. So now there's a line in my water that I didn't want. So what I got to do is I've got to edit those out. Okay. So and now this is a new map, so I got to do all the bridges in here. So that's going to be real simple. We're going to do that in Photoshop, but that is all I need for this layer. Okay. Now, if you're doing a city or something like that, you don't have water or anything, you can very easily go into labels and turn your labels on. And that gives you like your highways, stuff like that. We'll turn those off. You can go to text and you can turn that on. And if you zoom in, that'll do some different stuff. But if you want names of towns, we're going to reset that. You can go down over here to administrative and you can go to locality. Okay. Now from locality, you can go under labels and you can go text and you can turn on. And that brings up all of the names of the town. So like Pensacola Beach down here, Gulf Breeze. The problem is I'm burning two different layers. So part of this Pensacola Beach is on the land, parts in the water. It's not going to burn, which is why I'm going to add them separately to the layers. All right. Now, if I go simplified, it just makes them a little bit thinner as opposed to on. If you're looking, all that does is the simplified versus on. When it's on, it has a little white glow around it, and that's it. But like, if you're just concentrating on a city, you can most certainly do that and it will work. But for my map, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to reset that. All I want is just those roads. So I'm going to go up here to download image. I'm 1000 by 1000, scale factor of 3. And wait on the dinosaur computer. All right, and then we will go map to road layer. And we'll save that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take those, we're going to open them up in Photoshop, and we're going to edit them. We're going to add some names, and then we'll get them over into Lightburn, and we'll be able to make our map. Okay, so I've got Photoshop opened up, and I've pulled in my road layer, I've pulled in my water layer, and then what I have done is I have made two templates to the size that I want, which is 11 by 16. So we're going to actually be doing an 11 by 16 board today. I was wrong earlier when I said 16 by 20. I don't know what I was thinking, but 11 by 16. And everything I do is in millimeters. So I've made this. You see here, my height is 279.4 millimeters, and my width is 406.4 millimeters. That is 11 by 16. The width is 16. Height is going to be 11. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my road layer, and I'm going to left click and drag that up to my water layer. And I'm going to drag it back down on top of the water and let go of the left mouse button. And that brings that one in. Now I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to select both those layers, water and roads. I'm going to align horizontally. I'm going to align vertically. And then I'm going to drag them so they're square on there. So now you see that purple outline all the way around, and it is centered on my workspace. So now I've got both of those selected. Okay, so now when I click and drag, I'm dragging both layers. I'm going to drag that right up here to this layer right here, and I'm going to drop it. I'm going to bring it over here to this left corner. So you can see it's aligned on the top. You see the purple line, and on the left you see the purple line. So now I'm aligned. Now I've got both of those still selected. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Free Transform. Now all I'm going to do is, not holding Shift or anything, you see how it grows and grows and grows. Okay. We want that lined up again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to move that up. I want to go onto this bottom corner, and I'm going to drag that until I get to the area about what I want. Don't worry, I know it looks a little pixelated right now, but it won't when we're all done. That right there is about what I want. So now I've got Gulf Breeze here. I got Pensacola Beach. I got Perdido Key down over here. And that's going to be it. So here I'm going to hit the check mark. And that's going to save that. And now see, it doesn't look nearly as pixelated now. It's all fixed up. So we're going to zoom in here. So there's a couple of things I want to fix on this map. Number one, this is the one right here that was burnt over the name of the water. This is the one that was good. I deleted that one. I deleted this one. This is the one that burnt with the roads and the map layer, so it still showed a line. So I need to get rid of that one. Okay, so let's go here. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just select my road layer. I'm going to go to the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to select that background color. Now I'm going to go to my paintbrush tool. And all I'm going to do, let's go over here and zoom in a little bit. All I'm going to do is I'm going to erase, or I'm going to paint that bridge right there. Now if I zoom in closer, I can kind of round those corners off so they're not as sharp. You don't have to. That one actually looks okay. So now when I put Perdido Bay right there, that bridge won't burn over it. And then there's a couple of smaller roads that I'm going to get rid of. Zoom in here a little bit. We don't need this one. I mean, it doesn't, we don't need these. These are actually on NAS Pensacola. We don't need those. This little dingleberry hanging down right here. And we'll zoom over here. Now we got a couple of more things that we're going to fix on this one. Okay, so there we go. That's what I want. So now I've still got one more thing left to do on my road layer, and that is going to be adding the city name Pensacola right here. This is Pensacola, downtown Pensacola proper. So I'm going to go to my text tool, and we're going to go right here, and we're going to type in Pensacola. All right, now with that, I'm just going to go ahead and select that. I've still got Pensacola highlighted. I'm going to go to effects, and I'm going to do an outer glow on that. Okay, now I can take that, and it's actually a little bit big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to edit, and I'm going to go to free transform. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. A little bit big still. And that looks about right. That looks good right there. I like that. So I'm going to select that. Now I'm going to zoom back out. All right, so that's all I'm doing on this layer, except what I forgot to do is I need to get rid of that bridge, and that bridge. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so there's our bridges all gone that I needed, and we got Pensacola in there. Now we are actually done with the road layer. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to link roads, the road layer, and Pensacola together, and I'm going to go to Layer, and I'm going to go merge those two layers. Okay, so now no matter what I do, Pensacola is now part of that layer. And now I'm going to go to Water. I'm going to go to Layer. And we're going to bring that to the front. And now we're going to make our edits here. So you can see this is the bridge I got rid of. This bridge here. And this bridge here. And this bridge right over here. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my text tool, my type tool, and we're going to do Perdido key. So we're going to do Perdido on one line. I'm going to do my outer glow. I'm going to reselect that, and I'm going to make that, let's try 30. That's good. Then I'm going to go type tool again, and we're going to go key, select, and outer glow. Okay, go back to our move tool, and now we're going to center this up. And let's zoom in a little bit, see how that looks. So I still got a little black in there. Let's bring it up a little bit more. And you can see by the purple lines, I'm centered. So that's good there. Okay, now this font is a little bit thicker than the other font that I was using, so we're going to try this out and see how it looks. So that's Perdido Key. Okay, now what I want to do is I need to do that for Pensacola Beach, Gulf Breeze, and then I'm going to do my water. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll head over to Lightburn. Well, actually, we're going to transfer these back and forth between Photoshop and Illustrator, and then into Lightburn. So I'm going to finish up the water, and I'll get right back. All right, there we go. That's everything I need for my water. So I've got Perdido Bay, Pensacola Bay, East Bay, Gulf Breeze right here, Pensacola Beach right here, Perdido Key right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to link all of these names with this layer right here. Okay, so now I've got Illustrator open, and what I want to do, all I'm doing with Illustrator is just exporting this so as an SVG to open up in Lightburn, because I like to use SVGs when possible. So all I'm going to do is I've got this. All I've done is open this. This was a Photoshop file. I've opened it in Illustrator. Now I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to go to Save As. Save it to my computer. Road and water map. That's it. I'm going to leave all that just the way it is and hit save. Now I can open up my Lightburn. Go to open. All supported. And I'm going to look in downloads, and there's my road and water map. You can see it created right now. Open that up. And boom, there it is. So now, all right, we have one image, okay? But if you take this top image and drag it down, there you see our road map, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that road map. I'm going to put that on a different layer. Now I'm going to take this one and we can line it back up. We'll hit Control A for select all, and we will align vertically. And horizontally. So now that's it. Now we're ready to burn. So all we got to do is whatever our speed and power that we want, that's all we've got to do. So on, let's see, we're going to do this. We're going to go, we're not going to output that. We're not going to show that. So here's our water layer. All right. This one I actually want on my 10 watt, I like it at 30 and 90. That does a pretty good deep burn. And then we're going to put this one, so output that, show. This one is actually going to be 40 and 80. All right. So I'm going to burn the roads first, and then we'll burn the water layer. So right now I am outputting and showing the road layer. All right. When I'm done with that, I'm going to deselect output and show, and I'm going to select output and show for the water and burn it. And that's it. It's that simple. So let's move over to the laser. Let's get some wood put in there and we'll get this thing burnt. All right, everybody. So we finally got done with this map. This thing took 10 hours and 15 minutes. So it is 11 inches by 16 inches. There's a lot of water down here. So, I mean, this takes forever to burn all this stuff. Goes a little bit quicker up here where we're you know, fast white space scan and we're skipping over the white portions and only burning the water. But still an incredibly long burn on a 10-watt laser. But I haven't cleaned this off. I'm hoping this is going to look fantastic. But you guys can see here we got Pensacola proper, Pensacola Bay, Pensacola Beach, Gulf Breeze. I mean, Perdido Key, Perdido Bay. I'm not having that issue with the bridges that I had on the last one. So let's get this up to the house. We'll get it cleaned off and we'll see what this thing looks like. All right, guys, so I've taken that one up to the house. I got it all cleaned off. So we'll go back. This was one of the first ones that I actually completed. I did some other ones, you know, just to see how stuff was going to lay out. But I actually completed this one, cleaned it all up. Now, the only thing I've done with this is I've taken a clear coat of varnish and put it on here. And that's going to protect that wood. And it makes it a little bit darker. So, but I had a couple of bridges in here that I didn't like, that I needed to take out. And the font was very thin and it didn't burn real well. So we went back, I changed the font, and I showed you guys the finished burn project before I cleaned it up. So now that I've cleaned it up, now I made the fonts some different sizes on this one because I wanted to see what font was gonna look the best at that size on this size map. So this gives me a little idea, but anyway, here's the map all cleaned up. And I'll put some pictures in at the end or some close-ups. But this came out really well. I mean, you can see, you know, clear, you know, Perdido Bay, Pensacola Beach. I mean, all that came out real nice and clean. So these are a little bit big, I think. Pensacola Beach and Perdido Key. Those are a little bit big for this size map, so I'm going to reduce those down. Pensacola looks good up here. but these out here in the water are just too big. Right here, this is good. You know, Pensacola Bay, that's a good size. East Bay, I need to move it over a little bit and make that smaller, about the same size here. Gulf Breeze looks good. Perdido Bay looks good. All in all, this map came out really great, and I'm super satisfied with it. Now, like I said, I mean, this was a 10-hour and 15-minute burn on a 10-watt diode. So 10 hours and 15, it's 11 by 16 inches. So it's 11 tall by 16 inches wide, 11 hours. And that's not including layout time, but I mean, once the layout's done, I mean, that's real simple. All you gotta do is pull it back up and reburn it and just make sure your wood's centered. So once that's done, it's done. You can do these all the time if you want, and it's just gonna cost you the burn time. So, and some spray paint. So one thing I will tell you guys about this is I put about 4 coats, left to right, top to bottom, a coat, left to right, top to bottom, a coat. I made a nice thick coat of paint on this. It's been, again, humid, and cool here in Florida, but right now it's warm and humid. So it took forever for my paint to dry. The only other thing I did before I burned this was I took some transfer tape that I use for vinyl, and I covered the whole thing in one piece of transfer tape. And then when I got it all done, I cleaned all this off with water and just a soft bristled toothbrush. And same thing all the way up in here, all this, water and a toothbrush. That was it. And then just, you can rub it and get the tape off. A little glass cleaner got whatever residue was left by the tape, and it came out great. So all in all, about a half hour to get it all cleaned up, get the tape off. So you're looking at almost 11 hours from start to finish to get one done. But anyway, this is the transfer tape that I use. This stuff right here comes in a roll. I get that on Amazon. They make bigger rolls too. But for the 11 by 16, this is actually 12 inches. Comes in 50-foot roll. I'll put the link down below in the description. The paint that I used on that particular one was smoky beige. I've got some other paints that I've used, but smoky beige was just one I happened to pick out for that. Some pastel colors would look real great. If you have a beach house or something, a lot of people like the pastel colors, like the seafoam green and all that. So anyway, guys, I hope you found this video useful. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you guys are looking for anything that I use in this video, I'll be putting it down in the links below. You guys, thank you for coming along. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.